Greetings! In this episode of Forlorn Sense of Yore, I'd like to talk to you about the Matrix-1000. In particular, I'd like to talk to you about the 1.20 firmware that was released for this. I happen to own two Matrix-1000s. I had one in which the voice chips went out on it, and I recently found a way to get halfway decent prices on those to replace those. I had purchased a second one because the chips were so expensive originally, but now I can have two of them working side by side. This one, I haven't put the 1.2 firmware in yet because I wanted to compare and contrast the original 1.11 firmware to 1.2. Right now I'm playing the original 1.11 firmware, and what I'd like you to notice is how it responds to the actual real-time information for filter cutoff frequency. This is the way it currently responds. As you can hear, this is actually jumping around. This is not what I'm doing. I'm actually turning the knob, but it can't keep track of the speed at which I'm turning it. So when I slow down or stop turning, it'll jump to that spot. But as you can see, I'm turning. You notice as I turn the cutoff frequency more slowly, it can track that, but once I try to turn more quickly again, it jumps back and forth. The processor that was actually put in the original Matrix-1000, it's an old 8-bit processor from the 80s. And it can't keep up with that real-time information that's being streamed to it. It's still an extraordinary instrument, and it sounds absolutely wonderful. If you want to do real-time manipulation with your sound, you're not going to be able to do that comfortably using the original processor with the original firmware. This 1.20 firmware upgrade from 1.11 makes a world of difference. My second unit, the one on top, actually already has the 1.2 firmware in it. And in a moment, I'm going to switch to that unit, and you can go ahead and hear what it sounds like to modify this information in real time and how quickly it responds. This is the 1.20 firmware. Once we get in here and start modifying the cutoff frequency in real time, you'll notice that the display actually gives you feedback in real time and lets you know the incoming data. as you can tell, that is a night and day difference in the way the unit is responding to the actual sysx information that's going to it. There's no question that you could use a controller like this Novation Remote 0 to go ahead and program the instrument even with the 1.11 firmware. But if you wanted to control it in real time, the 1.20 firmware makes a world of difference. Patience and time, and I hope that you enjoyed this demonstration. Those of you that have Matrix-1000, feel free to go ahead and ask me if you have any questions. I'll go ahead and I'll post links down below where I got my voice chips and where I got my firmware.